Andy Johnson, Minnesota State University. We are looking at children's and adolescents' mental health issues. We are studying the healthy side of mental health. Previously, we looked at Maslow. He, along with Rogers, were the early pioneers in humanistic psychology. They studied healthy people to see what made them healthy, as opposed to the general tendency at the time studying sick people to see why they were sick. They believed humans have a natural tendency towards psychological growth and emotional health, a tendency to evolve, and an innate desire to learn and achieve their full potential. Things get in the way that keeps people from achieving their full potential. We do things in school to squelch this innate desire to learn. So the purpose of education and of schools from this point of view is to cultivate students' natural tendencies and desires. Rogers said a fully functioning person, a healthy personality, is in a continued process of self-actualization. Self-actualization is knowing all parts of self, appreciating all parts of self, and realizing your full potential in all areas. He described 5 characteristics of this fully functioning person. First of all, an openness to experience, does not feel constrained or inhibited by worries or self-worth, and they are free to try new things, to explore new ideas. They don't have the defense mechanism that others had. Therefore, they're willing and able to experience a wider range of emotions, both positive and negative. Not afraid to have an experience that may lead to a negative emotion. Existential living, similar to what Maslow said, able to live in the moment. They do not try to make new experiences conform to their sense of self. They do not try to manipulate data to fit their belief system. Their beliefs structure or create their data or their worldview. They take the world as it is. They're changed by the moment. They don't try to change the moment. A trust in one's inner self. They trust both their intuitions and their emotions to help them make decisions, to solve problems, or to guide them through life. Yes, rational and intellectual forces are still used, but these are put in the context of intuition or inner knowing. They make decisions and come to know the world, not just using logic and knowledge, but using their whole self, their emotions and their intuition. There is a sense of freedom with a fully functioning person. That is, they have fewer constraints or inhibitions. This gives them a freedom and a greater choice of thought and action, willing to play with new ideas, willing to take risks. They don't feel dictated by circumstances or past events. They feel the future is dependent on them. This gives them a sense of control, self-determination, and self-efficacy. And creativity, just like Maslow, creativity is not necessarily related to the arts, but it is the ability to think outside the box, to think of something new and different and original. Creativity could be found in the arts, the sciences, social sciences, all areas. So what, you say? Well, we want to eventually nurture these self-actualizing traits in our students. 3 ways to do this. First of all, identify those traits that are of import to you and begin to develop them inside yourself. Children learn what they live. They're going to see these traits modeled on a daily basis. This is an effective way to cultivate these traits within students. This includes your actions, but also teachers need to engage in what's called cognitive modeling, thinking out loud as you engage in some problem-solving activity or decision-making process. Let them see, hear you think. Through planned activities, this is where creative, intelligent teachers come in. These traits can be developed through activities. For instance, trait number 1, which looked at clear perception of reality, you can develop these by using activities that identify biases of self and others. Creativeness, you can develop activities and assignments that uses E. Paul Torrance's 4 ways of thinking, or 4 types of creative thinking. All right, so knowledgeable, creative, intelligent teachers can develop these through activities. That's where you come in. And number 3, you have to make sure basic needs are met. We can't get to the higher ones if we're still overly focused on the lower ones. This means dealing with children's self-esteem, children and young adults, a sense of belongingness in community, safety and security, both emotional and physical, and biological needs. This means that our classrooms need to become caring community. Here are the lower level needs, and we have to make sure these are met before we can get to the higher. What's interesting is young children naturally function at these three, so we have to kind of help our children get back to their natural state: self-actualization, aesthetic needs, and cognitive needs. So our schools must become caring communities in order to achieve this. And I have activities and video lessons.